In this video, we're going to go through thrift store mugs and see which ones we can flip on eBay and which ones we need to leave behind. Let's get started. When I first started selling on eBay, I was surprised to learn that mugs sell really well, but after a while I realized that it makes sense. They are great for gift giving, they're great to show your personality, and so knowing what mugs to pick up at the thrift store can make you a lot of money. I usually like to pick up mugs from garage sales, but if I have to pick them up from thrift stores, I try not to spend over $2 unless I know that the mug is going to sell for quite a bit more and make the money back. So I'm going to take you on a ride along through the thrift store. We're going to take a look at mugs, the prices that they're selling for on eBay, and decide which ones I should pick up to flip. But before we get started, go down there and hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so you're notified when I put out new videos. Let's get started. The first mugs I'm drawn to in this section are these black and white mugs, and they turn out to be J. Crew mugs. And J. Crew is a pretty popular brand when it comes to clothes or even some home decor stuff. So I thought I would go ahead and look up these mugs. Unfortunately, this mug is not one that's selling for a lot. These are some J. Crew mugs that are up for sale oh no, those are sold. So there were only 4 sold under J. Crew mugs. So let's take a look. There's 21 J. Crew mugs up there right now. And the prices on them are not that great. I mean, $9, $12. And if I'm going to spend more than $2 on a mug, I want to make more than $9 or $10 on it. So I definitely left that one behind. I did notice more than one of the same mug, which is something that I do look out for when I'm at the thrift stores, because if you can get a whole set, that's a game changer, especially if the prices of the mugs are a little bit higher and you can sell them as a lot. But I still decided not to go with these because look, $3 a mug is just not worth it. This one is just like a homemade mug, so I definitely didn't pick that one up. Here's another mug that I took a look at, and this one was from Food Network. And some of the Food Network stuff, kitchen things can sell, but look, this mug is up there for $1.99. So I thought, you know, let me go through and see what other Food Network mugs might be selling, because it's good to know, kind of have it in the back of your mind, just in case you're out and you see something else. I see a red pig that's sold for $18.99. Generally things that are animals, especially three-dimensional. But I started noticing Fortina, and they look like just kind of blah mugs. 3 of these mugs sold for $19.99. Now, if I'd gotten those at a garage sale for a quarter or 50 cents each, which isn't uncommon at garage sales to find mugs that cheap, then that would have been a really nice flip. So I decided to type in Fontina so I can kind of get a feel for what it is exactly. There are 8 solds as far as that goes, so it's not a lot of solds. I like to see things that have sold a lot more frequently, you know, or have a higher volume. But as you can see, they're just kind of plain looking mugs, so maybe worth looking at. We'll see. This one caught my eye because it was really bright, and I did end up seeing 2 of these. These are Home Essential mugs. They wanted $4, so number one, it's out. Unless it's going to bring me 20, 25 bucks, I'm not going to spend $4 on a mug. So I looked this up, and these were selling for 10 bucks. I saw these 12 Days of Christmas mugs by the same brand that were selling for about $100, and then there's one that sold for 50. And okay, those were not sold. So those were up, but they weren't sold. So this is one of those times when I really do pay attention to solds. There are certain things where I look at solds, I look at what's up there, I look at Etsy, I look all over the place. But when it comes to mugs, especially newer mugs, I really like to see what is sold. So these Day of the Dead mugs were cool, and that's something that's pretty popular. But as you can see, there's 970 Day of the Dead mugs that are up there. So your mug will be swimming around in a really big pond. And yeah, so I went through and I typed in, I looked at the sold. Okay, 80 of them have sold. I wanted to see what's the common denominator of the things that have sold. I saw a lot of the three-dimensional ones tended to do better, and then like characters like Snoopy. So I type in Holiday Market, which is what's on the bottom of it, and there are none that match that in the solds. So this is another one that I decided to go ahead and pass up on the mugs. So next I see this German Shepherd mug, and generally things that are breed specific can do really well, but I looked up this German Shepherd mug first, there's no price on it, and getting a price at Goodwill from somebody, you know how that goes. It could take 10 minutes, it could take 25 minutes. I mean, you just never know. But I was surprised to see that some of these German Shepherd mugs really weren't selling that well. There were a couple that were in that $19 to $20 range, but look, most of them are under $15. So there were a few, I think I'm scrolling too fast here, that were over that, but for the most part, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad flip for $10, $11 on a mug if I picked it up for a quarter. Oh, here we go. White German Shepherd. That one sold for pretty good. But if it's something I'm going to be spending $2 or $3 on, I definitely don't want to only get $10 on it. Look, there's 3,302 results that are currently live on German Shepherd mugs. So that's a lot of mugs to be up there. Okay, so next is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Again, this is a really popular brand with, I think they're with Disney now. And Nightmare Before Christmas can do well. Look at the state of this mug, though. It's a mess. And then this is another one of those that the market is really, really saturated. But let's take a look at which ones can do well. So there are 184 that are sold. So that tells you that they're moving. But let's see. So it looks like, again, the three-dimensional ones tend to do better. Some of these, like Jack Skellington, that's his physical shape. You know, then there are the kids, I can't remember their names. And then the dog. But yeah, it seems like the three-dimensional ones tend to be selling for a little bit better. These ones were on auction, and you can see where it says one bid. I don't do auctions, so I wouldn't have to worry about that. So it's something to think about. I mean, it is really saturated, but as it showed, they are selling. So if you find a cool one at a good price, it might be worth flipping. However, again, if I'm going to sell a mug for $10, I will have only paid a quarter, 50 cents, and definitely no more than $1 because I want to have a higher ROI, return on investment, especially when it comes to mugs. They're a little bulkier to store. Okay, let's take a look at what's up there right now. So currently there's 875 of these mugs. And again, there are a few that are kind of lower, but I don't do auctions. Okay, this is Mr. Grumpy. Introduce yourself, Mr. Grumpy. These are from the Mr. Men books. It's a Richard Hargrave, I think is the author's name. Robert Hargrave? Okay, anyway. But he makes the Mr. Men books and the Little Miss books, which I love. And before I even looked him up, I knew I was going to take Mr. Grumpy's mug home because I love these books. They actually just put out a series for Doctor Who, which is amazing. Okay, so there's 351 results up there. I could not find my exact one, but the ones that were up there, okay, I had this Little Miss Sunshine mug. I'm just going to put that out there, and it broke, and I'm so sad about it. Anyway, this is why people buy mugs used, right? Because I can't find it new. So if I wanted it, I have to go to eBay and get it used. So as you can see, there's a couple that are higher priced that are up there, but for the most part, they're not going for a ton of money. But let's take a peek. These are the solds, 85 solds. And again, it just kind of depends on the character. It's kind of like horoscopes. People have their characters that they just love, or characters that they think, you know who this reminds me of, or my trainer would get a kick out of this Mr. Protein shake, or you know what I mean? So unfortunately, some of them aren't selling for as much as I would like to see, so you have to take the emotion out of it. But I did go ahead and list mine, and I listed him for a little bit higher because I couldn't find another one of him up there that was exactly like the one I had. And I decided that I would rather put mine up for $20 and just keep it if it doesn't sell than to go ahead and sell it for less than that. But again, I couldn't find one just like mine. And people get attached to their mug. Somebody may have this exact mug and they want to get it back. And no other Mr. Grumpy mug will do. So that's why I put it up there. Okay, so cats are another thing. They're big sellers, but again, cats are really saturated. So lots of cat mugs. But this is a Sakura. I'm going to say that wrong. A Sakuro. And this was really interesting. When I looked up this mug, and I'm sure I said it wrong, there's a line that has been put out by Starbucks, Sakura mug. So there's 45 up there right now, but I was really confused when I started searching because there were a ton of like clear glass mugs from Starbucks. But it turns out they did a promotional mug with Starbucks with, it looks like a little cat's paw down there. So while the mug that I picked up to look at the thrift store didn't end up being one that sells for anything, now I've got something else in my mind that I'm going to be on the lookout for. I'm going to be looking for this cat claw coffee mug that was a promotional thing from Starbucks. Unfortunately, there are some of the other mugs from this brand that tend to do well, but these are the ones that are not sold. When I look at sold, almost none of the just regular ceramic mugs are sold, but the Starbucks ones are. So let's flip over and let me show you that. So 24 of these mugs have sold. Again, I see a lot of these with the kitty paw in them, and I would probably have a hard time selling it if I found it out thrifting because I am a cat lady. So yeah, but they're selling for about 20 bucks. So BOLO on this Sakura cat paw cup from Starbucks. Okay, this one says, "Hey, handsome," and these are kind of a dime a dozen, so I didn't pick this one up. It didn't really have a name brand on it that would kind of tie it into something else. But just look at the plethora of mugs that I don't end up picking up. But let's see what else we've got along here. Some are just vacation mugs. Some of them are too personalized. This was $1.99, and it was just a bee, a curly Q bee, and I tried to find one like it, but I couldn't. Again, it was $2. I mean, it's a nice looking mug, but without being able to tie it into something and for someone to find it better, I couldn't pick it up. This one I do end up getting because I like the quote, "Make time for yourself," and there was only one other one up there for $21 with free shipping. So I ended up putting mine up for, this is mine here, $19.99. And yeah, I just thought it was nice. And it was another one that was like, well, you know what? If I can't get a buyer for it, it's one that I'll just keep. So as you can see, there's none that are sold with the direct quote that's on that mug. So yeah, this was one I just kind of took a chance on because I liked it enough. All right, let's see if there's anything else we want to pick up. So as I'm looking through, again, I like mugs like this, but they're kind of hard to sell, and especially when they're wanting $1.99 for them because it's a bit steep. If I saw it for a quarter, yeah, I might take a chance on it, but not for $1.99. So back you go on the shelf. Let's see, I'm looking for any other kind of mug that might have a cool quote or might be a cool brand name. And that's just a sea of kind of random mugs. So this is Sush's grad school survival mug. I mean, this is what I'm talking about with it being a little too specific. If it was just a grad school survival mug, that might be kind of cool, a medical student. But here, moon and star stuff, I like picking up things that have to do with moons, stars, celestial type things. But this one has quite a chip in the rim of it, so definitely when you're checking out mugs and ceramics, take a look for damage like that. I can't tell you how many times I've brought something home and it was damaged. Now, sloths are big right now, so I really considered getting this mug because it's got this cute sloth and it says soonish on it. But again, this is one of those that the market is really saturated for, and it's $1.99. So again, if it had been a lot cheaper, I might have gotten it. But look, there's 1,312 sloth mugs up on eBay right now. That's a ginormous sea of mugs to be swimming in. So when I looked through, I mean, they were selling okay, 10, 15 bucks in that price range. So 95 have sold, so they're selling. That shows they're selling. But again, if it's going to only sell for what, $10, $15 is kind of the range I'm seeing here, I'm not going to spend $2 on a mug. I want to spend maybe a quarter or 50 cents. So I don't get the mug. Again, here is a British, this is like a travel mug, so I don't pick that up. Maybe once upon a time I would have tried, but again, not for the price. It would have to be super cheap for me to pick that up. So peeking through, live slow, die. Somebody put their trash in there. Isn't that sweet? Die whenever. And that was 99 cents, so that might have been a good pickup, but I didn't look it up. Melanie, so kind of scanning through. aha, I spot this mug, and this is a Starbucks mug. So this bronze Starbucks mug came in I think it came in a set of 4. But when I see stuff like this, again, it's $1.99, I start looking around and boom, there's another one. And then I start looking around to see if I find any more, and there's another one down there. And I scoured the shelves to try to find the 4th one, because usually they come in sets of at least 4 to 6. They're usually an even number. 135 on the results on this mug, but there were only a few of them up there. There was a set of 4, it's going to get there, that is up there for $22.50. They're not sold. So that's pretty fair if I bought them for cheaper. And then here's, selling one-offs for about $9 or $10. But for me, you saw they were $2 a cup. So for me to pick those up for $2 a cup, and that would make it was $6, and it would have been 8 for me to even sell it for $22 for having spent $8 on it, it's just really not worth it. But when I looked under the solds, see, this isn't even the same mug right here. There were none under solds. So I decided to hold off. Now, if these mugs, again, I keep harping on this, but if they had been at a garage sale for a quarter or 50 cents, sure, I would have picked them up, put them up for $10, no problem. Because then I have 3. I have to make 1 listing, quantity 3. It would have been super easy. But not for $2 a mug. It just could not see that happening. So let's move on and see if we find anything else at the thrift store. There is a Star Wars mug I look at in just a second. Oh, there's another one of those mugs with the snowflakes on it. Let's see. They had so many mugs, I was sure I was passing things over, so I go over things again. I didn't see any. I love picking up Far Side mugs. Okay, giraffe mug. This is another thing. People have their animal. Some people like giraffes. My son likes penguins. So they would like a mug with their favorite animal on it. So I look up giraffe mugs. There's 172 sold, so tells you they're selling. But again, looking at those sold prices, unless it's a pretty specialized one, there's a couple that are up there for about $20. Otherwise, we're looking at $7, $10, $15 in that price range. And the price that they wanted for it, I think it was about $2 on that one. Unless it was going to sell for $15 or more, I didn't really want to pick that up. So I go in and I need to type in the exact brand of this mug. So this mug was a giraffe mug, and it was put out by, this is me showing you, there's 1,500 some odd giraffe mugs that are up there right now, because it's quite a big sea of mugs for just giraffes. But the brand is Blue Harbor, and there were a couple that were up there of this mug. One was up for $16.95, and I think there was another one. But as far as sold, somebody took a best offer of $13.50 on that one. Okay. Star Wars. Again, let's talk about saturation. You'd have to find something really cool to look that up with. Okay, so I ended up leaving the 3 mugs all together for somebody to find, just because maybe somebody else will try them out or want them for their home. I hope you found this video helpful. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you've gotten into selling mugs. It's a great way to make some extra money if you find a mug at a low price and can flip it for a really good profit on eBay. And I will talk to you on the next one. See you later. Bye.